to actually be hosting and speaking on this webinar to talk about a topic that's very interesting for all of us at EBTC, and we've kind of designed this presentation and this webinar to really have a concrete discussion on how exactly has EBTC been helping companies, cleantech companies in pitching to the Indian market, and how we can support some of the cleantech clusters on this network and the companies that you represent to pitch their technologies into the Indian market and make your entry gradually but surely, and being very clear about what you would like to achieve from the possibilities that are there in the Indian market. So a little bit about myself. My name is Leena Piche-Thomas. I'm a regional manager Bangalore for the European Business and Technology Center. I'm based in Bangalore, which is in the south of India, and essentially have had a career of the last 16 years bringing in clean technologies from different parts of the world into India, and had a variety of experiences doing that, many successful and many, as I would call, learning experiences. But more importantly, what we have found is that there is a very big opportunity in India, and there is a way to do things to make your entry successful and more long-lasting. And one of the major points that I always tell a cleantech company or a cleantech cluster is, when you decide to look at a market like India, come to India with the objective of being in this market for the long term. It's a very interesting market. The opportunities are huge. There are companies, Indian companies, seeking European technologies. There are investors willing to invest in projects with the right kind of technology. But how you enter the Indian market, the process, the modalities, managing the challenges, that's very critical. And EBTC, I can say to some extent, has understood this enough. And I can potentially also say mastered the technique of actually hand-holding companies and devising customized strategies to enter the Indian market. So I'm going to be also accompanied by a colleague from Brussels, Philippe Adriences, to talk a little bit about how we work with some of the clusters, but overall here to kind of provide a stepping stone for all of you. And the structure of this webinar is, I'm going to talk a bit, but I would love to also discuss a lot on the webinar. The best way to do it would be raise your hand when you have a question, and I will pause and take the questions as we go. So we don't take questions at the end. We could take questions at the end as well, but let's do as many questions as we can on the way and keep this very interactive and free-flowing, because at the end of the day, this deck is going to be available online. You can always go through it. Of course, you can contact us for further questions, but yes, let's use this as an opportunity to talk, to discuss. So overall, this morning, I will cover topics ranging from the EBTC sectors, the kind of project opportunities already identified in India, where there are business opportunities for clean tech companies, our various platforms which we can use to expose European technologies in India, the process, which I just mentioned, is very important, the value-added services which we actually provide to help you take the right process forward, some of the other activities, and most importantly, what we have done for you to leverage and become active in the process is creating a calendar that you could engage with us going forward, starting from May 2014, and to pitch technologies, to share about innovation, and most importantly, participate in Indian investor forums. So, having said that, I'm going to give a very quick, brief introduction to EBTC, which is basically, as we had mentioned, we are an organization, we're actually a center that's fully dedicated to just promoting European clean technologies in India. And it's important to note that we have differentiated from what all other EU member states are doing in India. For example, you have the UK Trade Commission out here. They're all doing a fantastic job bringing missions into India in a variety of areas. But EBTC has positioned ourselves as a technology and business center to incubate clean technologies, to help them in a very specific way to enter the Indian market through customized strategies and actually hand-holding, which is actually quite a long-term process. We have noted that it takes between 12 to 24 months for a company to really, from the point of scoping the Indian market, finding a partner, establishing its presence, and making some few project successes on the ground. And this process is something that we handhold companies with. We stay in, we stay completely in front of you and behind you, helping you through this entire 12 to 24 month process and beyond. So these are, and I think as you can see on the slide, we're focused on 4 sectors: biotech, energy, environment, transport. We are pan-India, so which means that India is a large market. You can definitely kind of reach out to the different areas of the Indian subcontinent via our offices. And most importantly, it's the people, the expertise in all the 4 sector areas, IP, which is very significant for all of you, and as well as business and finance expertise to really help you in a strategic way by building the right kind of teams for you to help you into the Indian market. I'm just going to hand over to my colleague, Philippe. Philippe, can you hear me?
And my microphone has just been unmuted. I can hear you very, very well. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Philippe, I can hear you. So, Philippe, if you can just talk a little bit about how you in Brussels have been interacting with a number of clean tech clusters, and some of our ideas on how we wish to work with some of these clusters, please.
Yes, thank you, Lina, and thank you for hosting this webinar. I am indeed located here in Brussels at the premises of Eurochambers. Eurochambers is the Association of European Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and we facilitate the bridge between Europe and India and manage and help steering the European Business and Technology Center in the right direction. We, of course, connect European companies with the EBTC by doing promotion and outreach in Europe. That means that we don't only work together with our 37 partner organizations that can be chambers, clusters, technical organizations, research institutes all over Europe who have concluded a partnership agreement with Eurochambers to implement activities in India or in Europe regarding EBTC related sectors, but we also proactively make sure that ever more people know about the opportunities in the Indian market, especially the clean tech companies. And therefore, in this first part of the presentation, I would just like to zoom in during 2 slides on what we can do for clean tech associations and how we work with clean tech associations, and then I leave the floor back to Lina, who will further talk about the different services of EBTC and the project opportunities and how we can be useful to companies directly and to the members of these clean tech associations. We have over the past years been visiting clean tech related events. We have been speaking there or just having a booth in Europe to raise awareness about EBTC. This is how we got in touch with the different organizations that you can see on the screen, with whom we have different levels of cooperation that can go from basic to more intensive cooperation. We are continuously looking to work with ever more clean tech associations and clusters, exactly because the very focus of the EBTC in India is on clean tech, and we find it very useful to provide an added value to these clean tech associations by raising the awareness about the opportunities in the Indian market, which can be yielding a higher return on investment for their members than if they only operate on the local level. The associations we're working with currently as a partnership are, among others, Cambridge Cleantech and Clean Tuesday. They regularly organize missions with companies to India or For instance, in the case of Clean Tuesday, they organize live stream events where companies and investors from both continents pitch to each other simultaneously. We also organized together with Founders Cleantech Association and also with Cleantech Holland in the month of April events in Belgium and in the Netherlands for cleantech companies at which EBTC will be present with a representative and outlining the different project opportunities. So if you are sitting in any of these countries or would like to attend events, don't hesitate to contact us. And if you would like to organize similar events focused on India to direct the attention of your members to the Indian market, then please also contact us. We can provide you with speakers and opportunities and brochures and leaflets to make sure that cleantech associations can provide this added value on the Indian market to their members. Lina, I would maybe go over to my second and last slide to outline the different cooperation modalities that we can engage in with different associations and organizations, and then I give the floor back to you. Basically that ranges from the very first level of basic exchange, just exchanging knowledge, information, doing mutual visibility and promotion on each other's website and for each other's events, exchanging calendars, we can definitely do, to do an ad hoc cooperation on the basis of an event, a concrete activity, and we can do that either for free or on the basis of a small client fee, depending on how intensive the workload is and how much value we can provide to that association. That can be an activity, a conference, a seminar, even a mission taking place either in Europe or in India. We'd be very eager to hear your ideas. We also have a project approach. Lina will zoom into that more in detail, what we have in terms of project briefs available on our website, concrete opportunities that we spot in the Indian market that we make available to companies and that we can also present at events or via webinars. And EBTC Water Partnership is also one of these opportunities that you can click on. A fourth step is signing a memorandum of understanding or cooperation. If we really are serious about deepening our partnership, then we define our longer-term cooperation, possibly even revenue sharing possibilities according to mutual interests. It shouldn't stay a paper. We really want to get down to action and organize concrete activities and events. And only in case we have already had a concrete success story or a pilot project with which we have cooperated successfully together, then we could also envisage to conclude a partnership agreement with a specific organization in Europe, be it a chamber or a Cleantech association, that involves an administrative procedure that allows an organization also to share and bear the costs that it incurs for an activity with EBTC, thanks to the co-funding that we receive from the European Union. That is the most intensive modality of cooperation, in which we only want to step with those organizations that really are serious in orienting their membership towards the Indian market and that want to set up concrete activities with EBTC. Good, that is all what I had to say about setting the scene as possibilities for cleantech associations to cooperate and engage in collaboration with us. I am therefore happy to also meet you. Sitting here in Brussels and in Europe, it is easy for me to get in touch with you. So don't hesitate to contact me or to try and schedule a meeting or to invite each other at specific events. And then, Lina, I give the floor back over to you to talk about all the other points on the agenda and to concretely talk about the added value of EBTC and its services to companies.
Thank you, Philippe. Just one, and I think now addressing all of you, specifically also some of the companies and the opportunities, we realize that in each of these specific areas, which are the EBTC sectors, I'm going to focus on the cleantech, which is energy, environment, and transport. I just want to talk very broadly about the kind of opportunities that we see here. When you look at renewable energy and whether it's bioenergy or solar or wind, the general way forward in India has been, yes, there are projects announced, they are in the public sector, but there's a lot happening in the private sector as well. So two types of opportunities in the public and the private sector, and the general mode of operation might be either you partner with an Indian company and where EBTC is very well networked with the Indian corporate sector, in the renewable energy sector, or you actually come in on your own. And we have actually assisted companies do both within India. So moving on to energy efficiency, whether it comes to policy as well as projects, there is, these kind of activities are prolific in the country, both in the public and the private sector. And whether it's products, solutions, softwares, it's all something which is in demand, growing market opportunities. And like I mentioned, I've been in the sector 16 years, and I've seen the market open up tremendously. And I often now have the opportunity to meet business people who are not in the clean tech sector in India, who are entering into this field, in a very entrepreneurial way, because they're seeing the market grow. If there was no market in India, honestly, why would the Indian industry actually start, mushrooming? So this sector is also very, very entrepreneur-driven in the country. It's also very corporate-driven, and so there are large infrastructure, EPCs, corporations in India, the Reliances, the Tatas, the Landcos, the wealth funds, who are actually going out there and partnering with clean technology companies to implement projects in India. The opportunity for Europe is that India hasn't really invented their own technology in the last couple of decades. China has done that, whether it's via imitation or whether it's their own. There's been a lot of product development, but India has not done that. We are about to start doing that as a country. So that presents a fantastic opportunity for European companies in the short to medium term to really, really establish themselves by offering their technologies in the Indian market. Growing areas are, when it comes to smart grids today, there are public tenders out there, there are public sector tenders, there are projects, and there are again private sector opportunities. Energy storage, it's an opportunity that where this has to be done for renewable energy to really be deployed. So on the policy level and the project level, there is a lot of opportunity for collaboration and tech transfer in this area. Wastewater, or when it comes to waste management, I have visited several companies in India and state governments, and the single biggest topic that comes up before energy for them is the environment. It is, as state authorities, as municipal authorities, we are watching our resources getting polluted. We are watching waste very badly managed in the country, and now significantly there are, a number of tenders, there are a number of bottom-up activities on one hand, plus the private sector in India is looking for very, very deep long-term collaboration with waste management solutions, with water treatment solutions, wastewater treatment solutions. And for example, in the waste area, we have recently been made aware of a tender that's opened up in the state of Maharashtra, where they are looking to do waste to energy projects at a large scale, and they are seeking international technologies for the same. And this is information that EBTC is circulating to our network in Europe. So similarly, private sector companies, when these kind of tenders come out, there is no indigenous waste to energy technology in the country in India. They have to reach out for partnerships. So these are the kind of project opportunities in the sector which is real time. It's there. You can find a partner to leverage that particular project opportunity. That's what EBTC as a center really tries to bring you to and handhold you to. And most importantly, you might wonder as a company, what is it like doing business in India? Culturally, how can I work with the companies? Trust me, I think in India today, cultural, barriers, whether it is with a company or, within a state, it's as I think it's the same whether you have to come to Europe and do it. So it's nothing that you cannot really overcome. So, an EBTC is definitely there to help you manage that understanding. Often we set up companies together from the European and the Indian side, and we actually join the conference calls. There's one staff member from the EBTC side that joins these conference calls and these meetings to actually ensure exchange of information and business level discussions and provide unbiased feedback and opinion to both parties. So literally, like I said, hand-holding companies through all of these processes. And overall, when you look at transport today, we are in the process of executing with an Italian company an ITS project. We are working on alternate fuels, on hybridization. Electric vehicles is a very big theme. We have a very strong policy in India, some local manufacturers, but I do know that many of the local manufacturers are looking for further expertise to build state-of-the-art electric or hybridized vehicles in the country. So it's both on the, so on one hand, you have the opportunity for the technology, but on the other hand, well, the other big opportunity that we work with some of our partners is to create the ecosystems for deployment of technology. So how do we really gather the right kind of stakeholders at EBTC? So you need government support, you need a partner, you need a project, you need financing. So really bringing all of those different streams together to make a technology come into the market, because you cannot look at tech transfer in isolation. So along with the 4 features that I mentioned, also look at IP, for example. Look at all of the parameters that go into actual tech transfer and deployment in country. So, I'm waiting for questions as they come up. I'm encouraging the audience to keep asking me, but I'm going to go on now a little bit more about the project opportunities, where if you see, this is the breakup of the project opportunities that we already have on road here in India. And overall, I think if you look at it, we have 137 project opportunities that are documented. But let me tell you, in the 4 offices in India, we have people walking in every week asking us for something specific, either choosing from the portfolio of technologies already on display, or they are, directly making a request for a particular technology. So this is an example of some of the requests that we've had. This is just an excerpt. If you see how we collect this information, just to show you, for example, if you look at it, we have a focus sector, energy, and the sector is within that is high concentration PV. There is a specific project requirement, which is in this particular case technical cooperation, and the requirement from the EU partner, that is companies such as yourself. What is the given Indian entity looking for? So these are all some of the examples of the 137 opportunities that we are outlining out here, and which we are doing more in a proactive way to put up. But specifically, we also organize it in the reverse way, that if you have a particular technology, we can actually identify specific project and business partnership opportunities for you. So I'm just going to pause here for a bit and go back to the questions that are coming up to select some. So bear with me for a few minutes, please. Well, interestingly enough, I already have a request from a company saying from Chandigarh, saying why are these technologies like renewable energy generation and wastewater technologies not introduced in Chandigarh? Chandigarh is in Punjab. It's in the northern part of India, and it's interesting. We also have some Indian participants in this call who are mentioning, who are clearly making a request. So just want to mention to the gentleman, Puneet Singh, that it's very interesting to know that you are interested in specific technologies. And we'd be happy to let you know that we have technologies with us, plus the whole idea about doing this particular webinar is to also attract more European companies from the Cleantech clusters to respond to inquiries such as yourself. Okay, so we're just going back now to the description. And now, for example, I think for a number of the companies, we also have questions about, how are we going to kind of connect the European side with the Indian side? What's our process? So just to, we have a process that defines the various activities that we can undertake. But technically, we work with an individual company, an individual technology company, or an individual demand request from India to really manage the process of movement of technology to the Indian market. So whether it's beginning in phase 1 with the business and market analytics, or doing a market validation trip to validate the opportunity for your technology in the market. It's a very short-term, fast result, quick result kind of strategy where you can understand whether there is a market for your technology in India. 2, for example, organizing larger delegation visits, or if you, for example, want to incubate your technology, and moving on to provide market access support, localizing your business model, localizing your technology, looking at how we can take pre-commercial technologies to commercialization, and most importantly, I think the single most important significant step you will note when you start working in India is everybody is going to ask you to see for a functioning pilot in country before they scale up. So driving towards that functioning pilot in country where you can actually show your technology work is the first important approach, and we have created now platforms to actually help you get to piloting your technology as quickly as you possibly can. Obviously, I cannot take you through each and every platform on this particular call, but on a specific basis, we'd be more than happy to address how we take a European technology towards piloting and eventually scale up. And most importantly, I think, connecting all of this to financing and investment, both from EU and Indian sources, is very important. We're also working actually, apart from leveraging existing financing sources, on developing financing structures that can actually help European companies address the Indian market. So do not hesitate to discuss with us, how, if I have to come to India, how will my market entry be financed? How can I raise money for the projects? What is the kind of investment? And I think often before you think about India, do think about how you are going to manage your resources, whether it is your human resources. Who are you going to dedicate to the Indian market? Do you have an operational budget? And with that operational budget, when you come to India, then we can kind of say from that point how we can help you leverage all of these different ecosystems, activities, financing, partners, business. So some of the, in fact, some of the platforms, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this process now. I'm just going to throw some ideas out which will give you a sense on how a technology can be positioned, and literally like a process flow chart if you have to do it in the textbook approach. Not that we have to follow every step, but this will give you a textbook idea of what you can do. For example, we have set up a technology experience center in India. Actually, it's a first of its kind initiative of EBTC, initiative of the European Union to really set up a center locally based in India where any Indian company can come and experience European technologies. So we have created both a real physical center, which is currently based in Bangalore, but most importantly, the virtual experience center, which you can actually visit that link. It's about to go live by the end of April, but virtually now people will be able to experience European technologies. They will be able to actually select technologies for their specific projects, and most importantly, the Cleantech clusters, the Cleantech companies from Europe will be able to showcase their technologies on this particular platform to make it something like an experience. I mean, as you all know, experience builds aspiration, and aspiration eventually leads to business. So that's the whole idea behind the European Technology Experience Center, which I will tell you more about going forward. Now, how do you leverage this? And if you have to kind of leverage a technology experience center, how would you really go about from incubation to making pilots happen? What can you do? So we've created like a value chart of different things that you can pick and choose to help you get, of course, to the end objective of entering the Indian market. Really, what this does is makes the entire process easier. Basically, what we have done is put years of experience into really developing a format that's going to make it easier for the Indian side to uptake your technology and for you to showcase and build the market. So overall, like I said, first of all, you could showcase your technology on the European Experience Center. How do you do it? It's very simple. You could actually, if your product has a prototype or it's small enough to be able to be shipped, we have physical displays at the physical center, but you could also virtually display it to the virtual center in various multimedia format, including presentations, videos. And I think whatever you have in terms of material where Indian companies can experience your technology better, really get interested to want to learn more, you should share that, and listing is for free. And the point is, this is not going to be a list of thousands of companies. This is going to be a listing of selected companies that have approached us, have signed up to be a part of the technology showroom, are also keen on the Indian market, and also are making a commitment to the Indian market. So it's very important that you mentally decide that yes, this is a market you want to go after, because it's going to take you some time. We have the process in place, but you have to commit to the entire process to help you through. So listing is your first step, and the most important thing is that through this free listing, you can get a feel for the kind of demand that's starting to grow for your product, because we will share that with you as and when it arises. So really what you're starting to do is, without even traveling to India, without spending a penny, you're actually starting to develop business for your product in country. And once you feel that yes, there is traction, yes, I do believe that there might be an opportunity, you can actually then have discussions with the Indian companies. We have a video conferencing facility by which you can have discussions, and at the right time decide to actually venture out, make a trip here to meet your potential partners and project opportunities. So this is one type of incubation. The other type of incubation is, yes, you're on the showroom now, but that takes a lot of explaining about your technology, and we've often seen that you need somebody out here locally who can talk to the Indian people in I wouldn't say most people speak English in India, of course, but the point is to be able to connect with them at the local level and really tell them about your technology. So what we really put together is we have the role of a technology manager within the center, who will actually promote your technology within India. So this is like a value-added service, and along with this, maybe help you explore the Indian market, organize a market exploration trip, and this dedicated technology manager then becomes a single point of contact for your technology locally in country to showcase and to build business and develop your customized approach for the Indian market. One of the things in India is the whole technology discovery process results in a lot of surprise activities. Sometimes you will realize that through customer engagement, potential customer engagement, you will find new applications for your technology. So unless and until you engage with this customer, with the customer out here, you will not really know what your market entry strategy has to be. You can write as many reams, but what EBTC really kind of, our approach is focused on the practical. It is getting you to the customer as fast as possible and developing an approach that is customer-centric and hence for you, revenue-centric. And finally, I think another form of incubation, which all of you may be familiar with, the very simple, you need desk working space, you need to have offices around the country as you move around and explore the project opportunity. All of the EBTC offices in India have offices, have a place for, for you to sit either in a desk or a cabin and actually use that time. You can use it for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, a year. So typically, as a business center, apart from being a technology center, we also give you the possibility to find your space, and then you're surrounded by the team. You're surrounded by experts on a day-to-day basis to come, chat, discuss ideas, and see how you want to take things forward within the market. So I'm going to pause for another few minutes and take some and just see if we have any more questions which we can take. Okay, we're getting several inquiries for with Indian requests for European technology. It's very interesting. Okay, and we have one question from ETI Dynamics. Is EBTC involved somehow with the Smart Cities initiative in the town of Neemrana, state of Rajasthan? I think what I'd like to say is EBTC is very, very active in the Smart Cities program overall. We have a clear focus on, we have a clear focus on helping European companies or clusters actually get to smart city projects, several of which are being rolled out by the Ministry of Power, by the state governments. So we'd be more than happy to discuss this with you. And if you look at it, a smart city initiative really covers all of these areas. It covers renewable energy, it covers environment, it covers transport-based solutions, smart grids, energy storage. So really is something that we are very, very active in, and have had past activities and are going to continue to have past activities. And most importantly, if you want to connect your companies to the different smart city projects in the country, we could definitely do that for you. We have another question. How does EBTC see the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor Initiative as opportunity for Nordic cleantech companies and technology? So it's, I think it's very significant because the public sector overall is playing a large role in defining that most new projects will have to have a sustainability quotient to it. So if there is a specific interest to target these particular projects, we'll be more than happy to handhold you towards leveraging not just the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor project, but also several other such projects that are focused on development, infrastructure growth with sustainability. In fact, we have seen now most of the infrastructure consulting firms in India, they are beginning to offer consulting to the state governments and the private sector entities on sustainability, because both from the national government side and the state government side, there is a strong policy that's in place. There is also investment being made. There is also private sector involvement, and every time a new project is announced, the most important thing is people will be looking for partners. Can we also unmute this to have people ask questions? Okay. So what we're going to do now is, I believe we just have about 20 minutes left. So we are going to kind of run through the presentation and hopefully take questions in the end, yeah. So going back to the business incubation now, I think we spoke about, again, through the value-added services, we have discussed how we could help you with the market exploration trip. So, typically this has been one of the activities that a lot of the cleantech companies have taken to start with, and they found it extremely useful. Because most importantly, they get in 1 or 2 weeks' time, they get a very good assessment of the Indian market, and they connect with potential partners and business opportunities to discuss. And what they then can do is define on their, what do they need to decide as their market strategy for India once they've understood who their potential customers, partners, and stakeholders would be. So and typically, it takes us 3 to 4 months to do the entire activity, and we suggest a 1 to 2 week business trip in India. And this is something for the companies who feel that their technology is kind of at a pre-commercial stage. I mean, typically people dealing with, let's say, solar cells or wave energy, where markets are growing in Europe. Also in India, it's a very pre-commercial stage for technologies to be deployed. So what we are doing is creating a process here where research stage technologies can actually connect with corporate groups and projects and research institutions in India who want to really take these technologies up and commercialize them in India. So this is definitely a more long-term process, but something we recommend for technology companies whose technologies are pre-commercial, vis-a-vis more commercial scale technologies for which the other suggestions have been placed. And most importantly over here, I think in all of what we have seen in our strategies, again, this is one of those strategies we put in place because we realize that as you bring technologies into India, people are questioning the cost, the functioning of the technology within the Indian market. And often, European companies turn back because somebody tells them that it's too expensive. But the point actually that the Indian customer is trying to make is, can I optimize this technology for the local market? Can I look at an optimized cost and revenue model for the Indian market? Can we look at tweaking the technology for the Indian market? Can we look at a local supply chain? But often, these questions are not asked, and somebody asks you for a description of your technology. They ask you for the costing, and based on the numbers you send, because that's what you know, you have a costing, you have your technology, you send it all, and you don't hear back. Because out here in India, the Indian company has thought, oh, no ways can I really work with this particular technology. In India, it's too expensive, it's fantastic, it's beautiful, but too expensive. But what has not happened is people have not spent the effort asking the right questions. So what we do at EBTC is help understand. Sometimes some technologies are very well placed in the pricing and the technology is ready for adoption. Sometimes it becomes pretty obvious that you need to work with your customer to actually localize the technology and the cost. And we actually help you through that whole process of creating your localization ecosystem, validating it, and then actually helping you scale up in the market. But mind you, we're not telling you that you need to stay away from the customer. You will be engaging with the customer, but your engagement with the customer will have a very different approach, which is not a sales approach. We often are so bogged down with sales and revenue targets as European companies that we forget that sometimes we take a step back and think about the process. What does it take? How is my customer really viewing my solution? So we encourage companies, when you come to India, ask them these pertinent questions, and you will see that they are more open-minded than to say, oh, are you open to a local supply chain solution? Or will you be open to looking at how we can protect your IP and localizing a solution for India? Or maybe why not creating a joint IP together? So really these discussions are meant to be had, and there are highly protected IP frameworks to help you take you through this process without being worried. And of course, you have us on the ground here at EBTC to help you with the do's and don'ts. And overall, getting you to your end objective, making the pilot happen, I think this is a very, very significant step. We actually, we started with one particular company, which is a floating solar PV company in November 2011. We're so happy to see that they are piloting their technology today, and they're going to do their first large-scale project in Bangalore in 2014. So, like I said, 2 years, it flies, but it's worthwhile to kind of spend that time through taking it the right process, getting a pilot on the ground. Getting a pilot on the ground could take you 12 months, but you should spend time in this process, understand that this is required, and manage your operation and your resources accordingly so you can plan your entry and also manage, how you feel, not get frustrated too easily, but realize, yeah, it's going to take all of this to get to your end goal, and you need to put in all this effort mutually, work with the center, work with your customers, and get through the whole process. I think all of you, in fact, when I meet a number of cleantech companies in Europe, the first question they always ask me is, what about our IP? I mean, look, we want to do all of these things. So we have a dedicated IP help desk, a dedicated IP person to actually take you through what you need to do for your given technology in the Indian market. So, we would welcome any discussions with you, which you just need to drop us an email and discuss with us how you could manage your IP for your technology in India, and we can come up with specific activities and guidance on what you should be doing. And very quickly, this portfolio of services, this presentation will be available post the webinar for you to go through this, more patiently. And now, before we wrap up, I'm just going to give you a quick indication of how we use the ETEC Center. You're based in Europe, the audience is based in India. Some of our events, as you've seen, we've engaged with, Cleantech. A lot of you would be familiar. It's again an EU program that is helping EU Cleantech startups within the European Union. And EBTC has an MOU with Cleantech to help bring those startups into India. This is a relationship that's grown wonderfully. We've been discussing for a year, and we are now in the process of bringing 5 companies into India, and also setting up a revolving fund together, which will help actually fund the entry of these companies into India. So if you look at it, we've had virtual events, people in Europe, people in India actually having discussions, discussing, sometimes it could be a company, one company to another company as well, discussing how they could do work together. And similarly, we'd encourage any of the Cleantech clusters as well to develop these specific targeted programs with us, where we say together we will help 4 or 5 companies enter the Indian market in 2014. We will offer them this kind of support within India, hand-holding within the Indian market. For the other picture which you see here is typically of where somebody from EBTC is making a presentation to a European audience, from India to Europe again. So typically these are the facilities that can be leveraged. Similarly, training workshops on site with individual companies, sometimes with groups of companies. Some of the names mentioned here as well. Business meetings in our video conferencing facility with European companies and Indian companies. Just to give you an idea how we're just trying to make it simpler for companies to interact. And more importantly, now how can we start talking to you in 2014? How can we engage with the European companies, with the Indian businesses, and make it a live and interactive forum? So what we've done is we have created a calendar for 2014, which will start from May of this year, where we are inviting Cleantech companies from Europe to pitch in a very fun format their presentations. We're going to have these. We're going to have 6 to 7 of these events this year, mostly one a month, and where different Cleantech cluster groups will be presenting their technologies, and which will be preceded actually by the same cluster group actually doing the EU-India knowledge sharing under what we call the innovation through EU-India knowledge sharing. The reason we have structured this is because we've seen that we have to look at visibility for Europe and India and Europe. That's very important. I think creating a consistent platform for us to get to know each other is very important. Showcasing technologies in real time, that's very important. People want to know about real technologies, who's interested in India. And when we talk about opportunity pitches, it's really going to be pitches from the Indian side of companies looking for European technologies. So participating on talks is free. We need to partner with a Cleantech cluster, with your companies, do the EU-India knowledge sharing on the particular cluster, what you'll do, and invite maybe 5 companies to leverage talks. I'll show you some examples of how we do that. Eventually, what we will do is whatever opportunities we connect with the technology, we mentor these joint ventures and move you on to an investor forum, 2 of them which we will have in September and December in India. And we are planning to also create a live online investor forum where investors can actually look at EU-India partnerships that are looking for investment, or EU companies who are coming into India that are looking for investment. So we are creating all these structures for you to kind of start interacting with us and leveraging it, but basically in addressing the key issues of visibility, business opportunity, markets, and financing. I think that's what we're trying to do within this calendar. And overall, this is some of the examples of what we're going to do in May and June. If you look at it, on the dates that we mentioned, 14th of May, we will have an innovation through EU-India knowledge sharing with our partner Coventry University and their enterprises. And finally, we will also, on the 28th, we will have the technology and opportunity pitches of their companies. So on one hand, we will share information on the institution and the capabilities and what are the kind of opportunities to do business within a given region, a given cluster, and on the other hand, present the actual opportunities and the pitches. Similarly, we're doing one with the climate kick, really showcasing the technologies and the overall opportunities of working with these ecosystems. So the idea at the end of it, our biggest aim is to build business cooperations, is to make sure people sign agreements, do business, and make the revenues. I mean, all of what we're talking about are platforms to ease this process, but at the end of the day, the fastest way to get you to the companies in India, get you to sign agreements, make sure you get to business and revenues. I mean, that's what we are using all of this to head towards. And I'm just given another, after in September, how the calendar will look, and we'll be happy to share with you the details of this calendar, but this will be on a roll, and we'll be more than happy to invite you to pick up slots during the year from May onwards to share about, to pitch your technologies, as well as to share about your clusters and the strengths, any financing opportunities, any technology opportunities. Even if they're pre-commercial, we bring that under the RIB platform. So this is just to give you an idea of what all you can leverage. Way forward, I'm just going to quickly wrap up. I think it will be very interesting for you to know that that whatever we present, whatever technology pitches you have, it's going to be done virtually. So the platform is going to be done online. So you don't have to travel to India. You can be in the UK, you could be in Germany, you could be in France or Slovenia, and you could actually be pitching from there. And we can tell you about how the technicalities would work. But essentially, you'll be pitching to there for an all-India audience completely. And the Indian companies will be talking about their opportunities for a pan-European audience. And the important thing is that this, going forward, we are already in the process of collaborating with several state governments and regional institutions in India to really actually open up physical European technology experience centers for the outreach to be much wider and much deeper within India. So this is something for you to know that our solutions are highly scalable, and the opportunity to display your European technology to the Indian market is also quite immense. So overall, I'm going to leave you with this slide just to ponder about both the opportunity. Yes, there are challenges, but I think we've addressed what are all the processes that we have in place to help take you through that. That's what we've been set up for, and hopefully we can stay in touch with you going forward. So yeah, I think now we just open up for question and answers. Can you please raise your hand if you need to ask a question, and then we'll unmute you, and then you could ask your question. Are there any questions? Raised hands. Alice, I've just unmuted you. Alice Nicolucci. Alice, are you online? Okay, we have a question from Leon, hand raised there. Leon, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Leon. Would you like to ask your question? I think we're not able to hear each other at this point. So maybe I will just take the questions from the listing that's come out here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this one question which I have here from Jacques. How much of EBTC's initiative is publicly funded? Okay, Leon's mentioned this question, but I'll go back to Jacques. Just to mention, EBTC is a program of the European Union. It's a co-funded initiative, and it's funded 80% by the European Union up to 2017. And we're meant to become a self-sustainable institution by then, providing services and hand-holding European companies into the Indian market. Please feel free to ask, to type down your counter questions. I'm going to the next question by Leon. Can EBTC also have a role in establishing cooperation between knowledge institutes? Yes, Leon, absolutely. It's something that we do most definitely. We already have a very good network of institutions in India that we work with, and yes, we can do that for you. Somebody's asking if you can hear me. I'm sorry, but I cannot seem to hear you, Leon. Okay, so I think I have a raised hand from Mahindra Kapadia. Hello, Mahindra. Mahindra? Could you please type your question, because there seem to be some sound issues that we're having. Mr. Mahindra, you're going to ask your question? Or in the meantime, I think while you type it, I'm going to take this question. I have my colleague Harsha, who will take a question from our office.
Yeah, I think Mr. Rajendra Reddy wants to know if there's any initiative for offshore wind penetration in India. Yes, there is a €4 million grant which is currently in place now, which is being handled by the EU government, and on the Indian side there's WISE, which is based in Pune, and CSTEP, which is based in Karnataka, who's doing a research project on offshore wind penetration in India. So if you need more information, you can just contact me, and I can contact us, and we can send you more information on that.
Yeah, I think Mahindra has asked his question about, just before that, would like to have technology partners from Europe for HP and LP heat exchangers for power plants of up to 50 megawatt. Thank you for your request, Mahindra. I would request you to please send me an email so that we could take this particular request for a technology, forward with European entities. We'll work with you to showcase this particular request to the European audience. There's one more question from Mahindra. Would like to propose collaboration with IITs and private R&D organizations with European companies. Definitely a good proposition. We do know that now in India, a number of the knowledge-based institutions are also working on technology piloting, technology demonstration and scale-up. So certainly a good suggestion. Okay, so I think we have reached the end of our session together. But I think for me it's a start. It's a great opportunity to share with you what we have been doing, what we can do for companies, and and most importantly, this is just the start of a discussion. And really, we encourage you to contact us and discuss more specific modes of cooperation through which we can actually help clusters and, most importantly, individual companies. I mean, our solutions are in place to help individual companies and also partner with different cluster and associations to help groups of your companies leverage the Indian market. So thank you very much for your time and patience, and I look forward to staying in touch with all of you in the months to come. Thank you.